Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode. I am Samantha Harms with the Garrison Public Affairs Office.
And I am Eric Franklin with the Garrison Public Affairs Office as well.
And I am Specialist Garrett Dacko with 11th Signal Brigade, and you're listening to Fort Hood's
Great Big Podcast. Welcome back, everyone. We are here on the Great Big Podcast, Fort Hood's Great Big Podcast, and we have the first team in the building. Sir, can you go ahead and introduce yourself for us?
Sure. My name's Major General John Richardson. I'm the commanding general of the 1st Cavalry Division, 1st Team.
So, 1st Cav, we can't say if you're not Cav, but everyone knows. So, First off,
we want to say thank you for coming on the podcast with us.
Always.
Thanks for inviting
Gotta
us.
start out with a thank you, you know?
Yeah, I forgot.
He's
Sometimes
a busy
I
man.
forget what it is because I enjoy his tweets. So it's just it's thrown me off, you know,
okay.
to be
You
in the
feel
presence
just
of
like
greatness.
so comfortable. You're ready
Exactly.
to go. I get that.
Sir, I know you've been here a year, and it's been this past year has been full of history and full of first for the 1st Cavalry Division. Tell us a little bit about some of those first and some of that history that's been going on over this past year.
Sure. So we've been celebrating the division centennial this year. Born on September 13th, 1921. And we really took the year to celebrate the history of the division. Rich history, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, the Gulf War, Iraq, Afghanistan. And one of the things that was special about this year is we had an opportunity to engage in 3 separate Medal of Honor ceremonies.
Wow.
The first was with Chaplain Capon. So Captain Capon was a Catholic priest, fought in Korea in the 8th Cavalry Regiment in the 1st Cavalry Division, captured by the Chinese. Spent a number of years in a prisoner of war camp, and was credited with really maintaining the spiritual fitness of the soldiers and helped many of them survive. He did not. He died in that prisoner of war camp, and his remains were repatriated from North Korea this year. And Command Sergeant Major and I had the opportunity to actually go to Kansas, where he's originally from, in Wichita, and celebrate in a mass that they held for them, and the entire community came out to that. That was the first Medal of Honor opportunity that we had. The second one was with Corporal Tiber Rubin. Corporal Rubin, also a Medal of Honor recipient from Korea, and he, just a fascinating story. A Hungarian Jew who, when he was trying to get out of Austria and into Switzerland, was captured by the Nazis and spent a number of years in a concentration camp. And it was actually Patton's Third Army that liberated his concentration camp. And he vowed at that point that he was going to move to the United States, immigrate, join the United States Army, and serve the nation that had liberated him. Wow. He did make it to the States. It took him a couple tries to get into the Army because of the language barrier. He eventually does. And they ship him straight to Korea, and he takes on some tremendous heroic actions in Korea, and then became a recipient of the Medal of Honor in 2006. President Bush actually awarded him the Medal of Honor, and so he's passed away a few years ago, but his family donated the Medal of Honor to the division so we could display it in the division headquarters. And it's right as soon as you come in the division headquarters, every soldier that comes in gets an opportunity to see his Medal of Honor. The third, which was just a unique opportunity for the Command Sergeant Major and I, and that was to go to the White House to see the family of Staff Sergeant Edward Kaneshiro, who is also a Medal of Honor recipient in the division. His family, his son and daughter, received the Medal of Honor from President Biden in a ceremony at the White House. A staff sergeant in Vietnam risked his own life to protect his squad, and again, a heroic action where he jumps into a trench by himself and takes out a whole enemy heavy weapons team, which had his squad pinned down. He was later killed in Vietnam a few months after that.
Yeah.
And so it was a very emotional for his children, who were very young when their father passed away. But for them to be able to go to the White House and receive that from President, that recognition from President Biden. So those are three things. Like I said, I came into command, and there were 43 Medal of Honor recipients in the division. Now there's 44. And one of the things we did is we renamed Battalion Avenue.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's right.
And I think most people, if you're listening and you were stationed at Fort Hood at one point or another, you remember it as Battalion Avenue.
Yes.
Which was a nondescript
Yeah,
way of describing that road, because all the battalions were on it.
Yeah.
We now call it Legends Way.
Yes.
And every 0.2 miles, one of our Medal of Honor recipients, their sign is posted with their picture, the division patch, the regimental patch, and then their story. And so as the soldiers are doing PT, or if they're walking to the PX, they can stop and read the citation of those who came before us. Other things we've done here in the division, one thing that I think we were all taking a lot of pride in is getting all the streamers, all the campaign streamers put onto our colors. A number of our units were missing their Global War and Terror streamers. And I won't go into a lot of technical detail on why, but just based on the rotation of how we were doing unit rotations, units fell behind on making sure that their campaign credits were captured, documented, and then the streamers then put onto the colors. So I tasked all the battalion and brigade commanders to do their research, document it, push that documentation up to Human Resource Command and the Center of Military History, get it documented officially, and then put the streamers on to the colors. Because those streamers represent the people who were in the unit in combat. Right. Some of them making the ultimate sacrifice, and by missing this streamer, it's as if you've left a fallen comrade, which we all know is one of our warrior ethos, and so we're just about there. I think by the 101st birthday, all the streamers will be on all the colors, battalion, brigades, and the division colors, reestablishing accountability of all those who went before us. So that's the past. While we're
it's a lot.
I was going to say, there's so much already.
While we've been focused on the past, we were also very much looking to the future. So last year, the Army decided that the 1st Cavalry Division would be the Army's first armored division prepared to fight multi-domain operations and large-scale combat operations. And so what that has meant is a number of things. Some reorganization. We stood up another battalion, a new battalion, 6th Battalion of 56th Air Defense Artillery. So we are the first division to reestablish air defense artillery within the division. Understandably, we took down air defense in a lot of units because the Taliban, Al-Qaeda, ISIS, they didn't have an air threat. And so we reorganized the Army to fight that war. Well, if we do have to fight a near peer, either in Europe or in the Pacific, they are going to have air power, and so we need air defense to protect the ground forces. So we've reestablished our air defense battalion. We've reestablished the division cavalry squadron, and so 17 Cav is now the division's cavalry squadron. So they work directly for the division out in front of the brigades to set the conditions, and so we've reorganized. And that way we've reorganized the sustainment brigade so that it better can sustain logistically the division in large-scale combat operations. And in the near future, we'll probably do some reorganization with the artillery brigade, potentially consolidating the cannons back under the division. All of this is to allow us to fight a near peer in large-scale combat operations. And so that's the future. That's a reorganization of the future.
Yes, sir.
We're also working with Army Futures Command very closely on actual kit and equipment.
Yeah.
As we speak, 1/7
stuff.
Cav is out in the field. They've been there for about 30 days, and they have what's called MUM-T, manned, unmanned. I forgot the T. But it's what you have.
okay,
It's
yeah.
it's remote control vehicles. It's
Yes, still pretty cool.
short
Okay.
robots. They're
Ah,
out
fun.
there. They're out there with both small, medium, and heavy variants that the Army is looking at, where you have a soldier in the back of a Bradley fighting vehicle controlling a unmanned vehicle out in front.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
okay.
And the idea is, if you're going to make contact with the enemy, the first thing you'd like to make contact with is doctrinally, you want to make contact with the smallest element. And it would be even better if there's no human in it.
Right,
Yeah. Right.
absolutely.
And so this, so 1/7 Cav, which is our division cavalry, they are experimenting with putting robots out in front of them that have, some of these robots can actually birth other robots
Whoa.
Yes.
and launch UAVs, and so they can look
Ah.
over an intervisibility line to see if the enemy's on the other side, and if it is, well, then out of sight, you can set yourself up to
Yeah.
move up and engage them, because you know they're there and they don't know you're there.
So,
And so a lot of great opportunities with Army Future Command looking forward. So that's
Yeah.
looking back and looking forward. And if I could, I'll just hit the,
Yeah, go right on into it.
I'll just hit the present.
Yeah.
So while we're
Yeah.
focused on the future and while we're investing in our soldiers and their knowledge of our past, we have our day-to-day readiness, and we are globally engaged as we speak. The Air Cavalry Brigade, our Combat Aviation
Yes.
Brigade, it has been deployed for the last 9 months. They're just starting to come back from Europe.
Yeah.
They were actually in Europe when Mr. Putin invaded Ukraine. And so they demonstrated some incredible agility because they had to reorganize and relocate throughout Europe to best reassure our allies and deter our adversaries over there, which they've been doing a superior job. And they're on their way home. And we also pushed out on very short notice 3rd Brigade, 1st Cavalry Division, which is a brigade combat team.
Yes.
They are over there now in Europe. They're at the ports, and they're moving out to Poland and they will actually move up into some of the Baltic states as well to reassure our partners that we're fully committed to NATO, and then also work interoperability with our allies and our partners. And then right behind them, we have some elements of the Sustainment Brigade, and then 2nd Brigade is also preparing for a potential deployment to Europe. So while we're focused on the past and the present, we are fully committed to our readiness on the present day.
Awesome. Well, speaking of readiness, we talked about this on the podcast a few episodes ago.
Yeah.
3, I think it was.
3 episodes?
Yeah.
See, you know more about this than I do. Yeah. But we talked about the Pegasus troop. So can you tell us a little bit about that and your involvement in the Pegasus troop?
Sure. So Pegasus Troop is our integration and reception company. And it's something the Command Sergeant Major and I, we were thinking about early on when we came on board last summer. And then we decided to accelerate it for a couple of reasons. And you touched on it, and it has to do with readiness. The way we define readiness in the 1st Cavalry Division is that you have all your equipment, it's properly maintained, you have all your people that you're supposed to have, and you're well trained. So
Right.
you're fit, disciplined, well trained, and you have cohesion,
Right.
trust and cohesion, and
Yeah.
because that's the foundation. Because you can have
Absolutely.
all the rest, but if you don't have trust and cohesion, you're not ready.
Yeah.
And so what we wanted to do with Pegasus Troop is bring new soldiers and families on what we call the right way.
Yeah.
Kind of make a positive first impression and bring them on the team the right way. And so traditionally when you showed up at Fort Hood at the airport, you found a taxi and you found your way over to reception and you kind of
Stumbled
around.
Yeah.
And then eventually you showed up in your unit and they put you straight to work. And what the Sergeant Major and I wanted to do was slow things down a bit.
Right.
First, meet people at the airport with
Yeah.
a highly motivated, squared away, non-commissioned officer who says, hey, let me see your orders. We have a van for you. We're going to bring you to the barracks. We're going to get you settled. And then you're going to spend the next 8 days in Pegasus Troop, where your sole focus is to get yourself and your family settled. Because we don't want to put you to work and ask you to even think about work until you have yourself and your family settled.
Yeah.
And I think you can just see the stress, like,
Fall off of them. Yeah.
because I know
Sure.
throughout my career, when I PCS to a new unit, I felt like I got to go straight to work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Right? Like everybody wants to see that I'm all in.
Yeah.
And what we tell everybody is, hey, we know you're all in. You don't have to prove
Yeah.
that, or you can prove it to us later.
You can prove us to us in 8 days.
Yes. What we need you to do is because we want not only your body, we want your mind too.
Right.
And we won't have your mind if your mind is worrying about your family in a hotel room, or worrying about your children getting registered for school or daycare. And so the Sergeant Major puts it the best. He says his question to soldiers are your pictures hung up yet?
Oh.
And if a soldier says, no, Sergeant Major, and he says, you're not ready to come to work yet.
Ah.
Because that's kind of the symbol.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
PCS,
great.
you know the deal. You know, the pictures are usually the last thing to go up. And once
Exactly.
that's in, then your house is settled, then you're ready to go.
Yeah.
So if the answer is no, Sergeant Major, my pictures aren't, then you're not ready to come to work.
Yeah.
You know, we really focus a lot on finances in Pegasus Troop, because that's another thing that really weighs on
Yeah.
soldiers. Because a lot of times soldiers either coming out of AIT, Advanced Individual Training,
Thank you. You know my rule, no acronyms.
or PCSing, or maybe coming from the National Guard on to active duty. A lot of times the pay gets garbled, and then they get a no pay due, or they aren't getting the proper BH, whatever the case may be, and it starts to weigh on them. In the opportunity that they get at Pegasus Troop is focused attention on those type of readiness issues, individual concerns, so that all that is taken care of before they get to their company. Because we tell them, when you get to your company, the first time it's going to put you to work, right? And so we need you to be ready to work. We don't want to send you in half-baked. So Pegasus Troop, a little bit of history, a little bit about standards, a lot about investing in the soldier and their family. And then we end it at the end of the week with a patching ceremony.
Oh, nice.
And so we take great pride in the first calf patch, the big yellow patch, hashtag the big yellow.
Oh.
New hashtag alert.
Heard it here first.
I mean, it's iconic. I mean, everybody around the world knows the first calf patch, the first team. And so while they're going through Pegasus Troop, they wear the subdued patch on their uniform. And then on the 8th day, it's almost like a graduation ceremony. They're out on the field, a short speech, explaining to them that, welcoming to the team, explaining to them why we did Pegasus Troop. And you have some family in the stands, but who you really have in the stands is their new chain of command, who know they're coming, and they've been waiting for them for the last week, whether it's the squad leader, platoon sergeant, platoon leader, it could be the first sergeant, company commander, battalion commanders come out, brigade commanders come out. I do a short speech, either myself or the sergeant major, whoever's present that day, and then the chain of command is released out to the field. And so imagine, they're pouring out of the stands, and they're going straight to their soldier, and the soldier's holding their yellow patch, and the new chain of command
Whoa.
takes the belt, takes the
I like
green one
the
off.
sound effects.
Yeah, that was nice.
The green one off, and puts the new
Ooh, there you
yellow
go.
patch back on, and welcomes them to the team. And I'll tell you, so when I do it, I usually I'm looking out into the formation, and I try to drill into a second lieutenant, a brand new second lieutenant. And I go straight to him or her, and they feel special. Like, first of all, you spent a week investing in just me.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't ask anything of me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
You
nice.
did tell me you are going to ask a lot of me, but
I know the
for this last
expectations.
week, while my head is spinning, while I'm trying to figure out, where the PX is, and where do I get diapers, and where's my kid going to go to school, you didn't ask anything of me. You just invested in me, and now you're making me feel special
Yeah.
Bringing me on the team. Now I'm ready to give back to you. That's kind of the idea behind Pegasus.
Yeah. I always see the Facebook photos
Yes.
Of everybody from the Passion. Everyone always looks so happy and just overjoyed. It brings me a lot of joy just to see the photos.
Yeah, it's had even a more positive effect than I think the Sergeant Major and I thought it would have. It just had, and a lot of times I have senior folks, because we make everyone go through. Private through colonel, lieutenant colonel, even incoming battalion commanders have to go through. And then some of the more senior ones like, why am I having to go through this?
Yeah.
And I tell them, first of all, I said, it's my decision. So if there's anyone to blame, you can blame me. Second, it goes to a tenet of leadership, which is you shouldn't ask your soldiers to do anything you wouldn't do.
True.
So if they have to stand in line for 45 minutes for finance, why can't you stand in line?
Yeah.
Because what typically happens for your more senior folks, they'll get like, oh, your time is so valuable. We got to move you to the front of the line.
Yeah.
And two things. A, your soldiers see that, and it looks like privilege. And two, when you ask those senior leaders, hey, how is in processing at Fort Hood? Of course, what are they going to say? Oh, it's great.
It was awesome.
It's a breeze.
But if they have
Everyone
to stand
should
in
go to
line
Fort
with the specialist and the young sergeant for an hour going, hey, we could be doing this better.
Yeah.
You know, and then all of a sudden, two things. A, they understand what their soldiers are going through. And B, the senior folks will come back and say, hey, you could be doing this better.
Yeah.
And we are constantly taking feedback in from master sergeants, sergeant first classes, majors, captains, telling us, hey, love what you're doing, but you could be doing it more efficiently. And we make constant changes throughout. But that's the idea behind Pegasus Troop.
That's awesome. Wow. I love that.
So you spoke a little bit on the patch, and you've been mentioning all through the podcast, first team, the first Cav nickname. I know you're a bit of a history buff, so do you mind sharing the backstory on where that kind of came from?
Yeah, so one of the division commanders, Major General Chase, he named the division during World War II the first team because we were the first division into Manila in the Philippines during World War II. And then went on to be the first division into Tokyo, occupied Tokyo after victory in the Pacific Day. And then during Korea, we were the first into Pyongyang, the North Korea capital.
Sensing a theme
yes.
here.
And so it just has kind of stuck as first team.
Okay.
And sometimes you'll hear America's first team, but we are the first team.
All right. I respect it. Thank you for the history lesson.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sir, so real quick, I just want to go back to something that you said earlier. Have you got a chance to drive any of those robotic things yet?
I did.
Oh, how was it?
It was awesome.
They wouldn't let me drive it, but they said insurance.
So I had a
Imagine
very young 19 Delta cavalry scout specialist sitting next to me, and he'd been training on it for about a week or two. I mean, the young soldiers are picking it up so quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, the joystick, the controller looks just like an Xbox.
Yes.
Oh, perfect.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so they are very quick to learn how to use it. But he showed me how to start it, stop it, turn it, watch it on the screen. I got it up to, it could go different speeds, I think 18, 14, and maybe into the 20s. And so, of course, I had to put it in the highway. And I was going really fast. And I was starting to head toward one of the contractors' white pickup trucks. And I started seeing people like running around with their hands. So, I had to put the brakes on. But yes, I got to drive it. We actually got to take General Pappas, who's the new Force Commander,
Yes.
Forces Commander. He came out to Fort Hood for one of his going around visiting all the installations, and he came to Fort Hood, and we took him out there, and he actually got to talk to soldiers for. It was scheduled for 45 minutes, but he was just having such a good time with the soldiers and talking to the NCOs out there that I think he spent about an hour and a half.
Oh, wow.
And he also got to drive the
fun.
vehicles around.
Jealous.
I noticed when he was here last week that I only got to spend a little bit of time, but I saw that he was very focused on talking with the soldiers and getting to know who they were. Again, I saw him speak with 4 soldiers, and General White had to say, "Hey, sir, we got to go upstairs," like, because he wanted to talk. And for me, I think when I see leaders and they are engaged like you are with their soldiers, I think it means a lot. I think that, like, you didn't have to go out there and use the Xbox controller. We know it's not an Xbox controller because someone's going to say something, but we know it's not an Xbox controller. But for you to get out there, I know that meant a lot for that Cav Scout 19 Delta. So I know it meant a lot. Speaking of that, you also, since you've been in for a couple of years, how have you seen just technology itself grow?
So I think technology can be a blessing and it can be a curse.
Yes.
There's a lot in technology that makes us more efficient and effective. I'll use the cell phones.
Okay.
Because we just published what's called the Yellow Book.
Yes.
Which is our standards and discipline book. Mm-hmm. And one thing that the Command Sergeant Major and I put into the Yellow Book is a new cell phone policy. So cell phones, I think, are great additions to society in that they help us communicate, do podcasts.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
And they can make us more effective and efficient, but if abused, can actually have detrimental effects on a military organization. So the Sergeant Major and I do PT with a platoon each week, and then we save about 15 minutes at the end to ask them, "Hey, what's on your mind? Here, you got the CG and the Division Command Sergeant Major." And of course, they don't want to say anything at first, but you get them going, and you can almost guess what the issues are, right? The barracks, the DFAC, transportation on post, and we are addressing all those at the division level and here with the Corps. But the one that kept coming up that surprised us was this abuse of the cell phone. The cell phone, the text and the calls that are coming in at 18, 19, 20, 2,300 at night. And the stress that is putting on the young soldiers.
Yeah. That stresses me out just hearing it.
Same.
And their families. I imagine a 25-year-old specialist with 2 kids and diapers, and they're trying to put their kids to bed, and they're in a group text, and the squad leader's like, "Hey, this is what we're doing tomorrow. Hey, this is the uniform." And then everybody's answering. It's ding, 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 ding. And the stress that is putting on the soldiers and their families. And, one of them described it as, "So I can't unplug from work." And I never really thought of it that way, And so what the Sergeant Major and I did, and I will give General Beagle and 10th Mountain full credit for this, because we plagiarized the policy that they were the first. They were the first to implement, and that is no cell phone calls or texts from the chain of command after 1800 unless it's an emergency.
Yeah.
And for 2 reasons: A, to allow soldiers to unplug and have time with their families, and 2, enforce good training management. Because the reason you're having to text after 18 and 19 to tell people what they're doing tomorrow is because you're not holding formations and passing information face to face like a traditional Army organization does, and you're not doing good training management at the company level, where there should be a training schedule posted in the company area 6 weeks out. And if we're doing that right, then you shouldn't be having to make phone calls and text at after hours. So I think that the cell phone is a great example of, because it is very effective too. I mean, when you do have to pass information quickly and to a lot of people in time, it's but if it's abused and it's causing stress on the force, which then has second, third order effects that could manifest itself in other ways that are harmful behaviors, then it's gone too far. And so the Sergeant Major and I are trying to strike a balance with the use of that piece of technology.
That's great.
All right.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about first Cav and looking and first team, yes, looking back and current and looking forward. You've been in command for about a year now. Tell us about what you see happening over the next year. through your command time?
So
What your priorities and focuses are?
We will. It's really the same three: the past, the present, and the future. So we're going to continue to focus on making sure all of our troopers feel connected to the past, and for our veterans to feel connected to the present day soldiers. And so we've got a great relationship with the 1st Cavalry Division Association. In fact, the Deputy Commanding General, General Carpenter, went to Ohio to actually participate in their reunion this year. Last year, you might remember, they came here.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
This year, they did it off-site. They did it I think it was in Ohio. Yeah. And so he went up there and participated, and so did our honor guard, and it just helped connect and actually some of the battalions sent some soldiers up and company commanders to spend some time with the veterans to maintain that connection. And then the future, we will continue. We are supporting PC 22, which is Project Convergence 2022, which is the Army Futures Command's major experiment out at the National Training Center. It's about 60 plus days out at the National Training Center where all the cross-functional teams that are developing the future technology for the Army, they're going to bring all their kit and we're going to experiment with it. And so the division has been tasked as the most modern division in the U.S. Army to go out there and support that. So, for example, 17 Cav will go out and they will continue to test these remote controlled vehicles. They will test new UAVs, a lot of new communications equipment. So Project Convergence 22 will be a focus for probably the next 90 or so days, and then we will start preparing for our warfighter exercise, which is our division level exercise, and that will be our focus probably for the rest of my command.
Okay.
All the while preparing today readiness to prepare our brigade combat teams for likely deployments to support U.S. Army Europe and reassuring our allies and deterring our adversary in Europe. So I think that's our focus over the next year.
That's awesome.
That's a great focus.
Yeah.
It is a great focus. It is. I would say I'd come out to NTC, but no, I disagree.
It'd be fun.
I like it. I would go, but I know I can't go now. Before, when I was working in the news, I could have went, but it's another story. I really wanted to go. But
Oh boy.
maybe I'll talk with our director and he'll let me go. I don't know. We'll see what he says.
We'll plan it. We'll go the same time. So we can
exactly.
There you
Well, you're
go.
always welcome. You guys should travel with me.
Yeah, see? Yeah,
There you go. You got an invitation right here.
I think one more thing before we get out of here, sir. I know that you have a big audience. I know the first Cav, the first team is everyone likes them. Or they hate them, whichever. It's personal choice. I love them myself. But is there anything else that you want to tell our listeners, or just is there anything else that's just on your mind that you want to share with us about the first Cav, about history?
Yeah. So I mentioned the birthday is the 13th of September each year.
I will be there.
And so we're gonna have Cav Week, and so the first 3 days will really be focused on a lot of team building events. We're going to have inter battalion sports competitions, and we're going to end the week with a traditional parade like we did last year, and have the troops out on the field and recognize some of our veterans. Of course, we'll end it with a charge.
Yes. You have to.
Exactly.
I love the charge.
In fact, I will be participating in the charge.
Now
a treat.
I will be there.
I was gonna say, I think we'll all be there now.
So I did my first one about 2 weeks ago.
Oh wow!
So I'd really never ridden a horse, other than little trail rides.
Right.
But I started with the horse detachment when I took command, and I started with the privates, and I've kind of worked my way up, and I'm actually doing charges now. So
Nice. How would it go? Did you enjoy it? Love it?
It was amazing. I mean, the adrenaline rush from that is incredible.
Just ready to do another right after.
Man. I can't imagine. I just love watching.
I know.
can't
I
imagine
get
being part of
amped
it.
watching.
Oh man.
So we'll end it with the charge. The helicopters should be back. Should.
That's
from
important.
Europe.
Yeah.
So it always looks great having them ride
Absolutely.
above the horses. And then it's going to be a family day, like an
Okay.
organization day, and all the battalions will be out there with their families, and then we'll cut off for the week. So everyone is invited to the parade.
I'll be there.
Especially if you want to see the CG
And cake.
maybe or maybe
on the
not
charge.
fall off the horse.
You never know. You never know.
I see the pictures when you guys are out there on the trail rides. I see you put it like this: you ride a lot better than I do. So that's not saying a lot, but you do ride a lot better than me.
Well, I really say I can't say enough about the horse detachment though, and what they do for the division, not only locally here in support of our ceremonies, but what they and the 1st Cav Division band do for the Army regionally, almost nationally, but definitely regionally, and especially now with some of our challenges on recruiting. And I'm sure you've seen that in the news. And so what we've done is reached out to the recruiting battalion commanders here in the local area and told them, hey, whenever you all are going out, let us know, and potentially we can support you with either the horse detachment or the band. And better yet, when we go out, because those two organizations are asked to travel almost every weekend somewhere in Texas.
Yeah.
We'll let you know, and you can tag along with us, because then when people come up to pet the horses and say, hey, how do I join the Army and do this? Right there. And well, here's the recruiter.
How about that?
He'll show you lots of options.
Every option.
Even better than riding horses.
Sam, do we have time for a quick story? Real quick, Sam?
Yeah, we got time.
Okay, so real quick, sir.
Story.
It'll be quick. My stories are never quick.
They're never quick.
But so give you my first experience with why I joined the Army. One of the big things. I'm from Killeen, and my dad was in 2nd Armored Division. However, the 1st Cav Division would do their parades, and that was like, I was like, oh man, I want to do that. I want to be in the 1st Cav. Like back in the 80s and 90s, 1st Cav was it. Like 1st Cav in Fort Hood, that was it. And then 4th ID came, but that.
I was gonna say, I think they still are. You're
Yeah,
saying
well-
in the 80s and 90s. I mean,
Well, in comparison, like I think there's only 3 people in this room who were born in the 80s. Yeah. See,
okay,
so
well,
most of the people in this room remember the 80s. You guys don't. So
Sorry.
anyway, but but seriously, that was one of the things that I saw growing up was just the 1st Cav, and it's always been a thing for me. It's part of the reason why I came back to Fort Hood, and got stationed back here twice, and why I retired here is because I love that connection that the 1st Cavalry Division has to Central Texas. As long as I've been here, they've been here, so it's home for me. And again, we like to thank you for coming on our show and listen to us ramble. Well, me ramble. They didn't ramble, but
Not yet.
listen to us
I was
ramble
saying
and
that, not
tell us
yet.
tell us all the history about the 1st Cavalry Division. And we appreciate you coming on.
It was actually a lot of fun for me, so I appreciate you guys.
You're welcome back anytime.
Anytime.
I'm always up to talking about the 1st Cav.
All right, that's what we need.
All right. Well, thank you again, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Save money and get special military discounted tickets to your favorite attractions like Six Flags, Schlitterbahn, SeaWorld, Disney World, and more. Stop by our Leisure Travel Services office located right here on post to get those tickets. For more information, go to our website at hood.armymwr.com. Have fun!
It is so much fun when another history buff comes on the show.
I know.
Yes, it is.
I love it.
Before, like, as we were prepping for this episode, I was like, oh, we're going to be talking about history. God, Garrett's going to be in
Yes.
heaven.
Oh, it's so much fun. Like, I'm sitting here just wide-eyed staring at him like,
It's always fun.
He said
now
so many things.
Oh man, it was great. I can't talk about history enough. I'm done. That's it. I said my piece.
I've talked to him over the past year that he's been here. Every time we always get off on tangents about history or especially about World War I and World War II. We just get off on tangents talking about that, and it's always the best of fun. I like how he kind of interlaced the past with the present and the future. And I think the 1st Cavalry Division has a lot of great things coming up over the next year or so.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Especially with the robots.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, you can't beat the robots.
You can't. Come on.
Robots, and then the cavalry charge, and he's doing the cavalry charge now.
Oh, I'll be there.
Sign me up
Yeah.
for that. Honestly.
The robots, him getting to drive it, I was kind of jealous, but I didn't want to let him see that I was jealous. But
I think you did. I think
He
you
did.
I think you knew. Yeah, that's okay.
I'm jealous. Come on. You kidding?
they look pretty
play
cool too.
video games for a living. And
Yeah.
it's real. Come on.
Dream come true.
Yeah, you're telling. Well, besides this is a dream come true. Yeah.
That was really cute.
Right?
I like that.
Yeah, I like that.
Thank you.
Oh, so what else has been going on over the past week? You were out last week.
I was. Yes. Life.
It happens.
It's been such a wild 2 weeks, honestly, that I've just been running around. So, but I'm back.
That's all that matters.
Yeah, you are. And we'll be doing more running around because there's just so many things happening here in the next coming weeks.
Oh yeah, that's right. There is.
Like what?
Well, okay, so today is Thursday when this airs. So Round Rock Express is having their military appreciation. Oh, that word was hard for me to say all of a sudden. Their appreciation game. So we'll be there for that,
We
actually.
will be there. Yes.
And then at the end of this month,
Yes. Beginning of the month?
beginning of next month,
Oh yeah,
Tuesday?
The first weekend in September.
yeah, Lee Bryce is going to be here.
Yeah,
and
that's right.
Eli Young Band.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, I
Oh.
see that stunned look on your face.
I know. I'm completely speechless.
You didn't get the message?
No one tells me anything.
You didn't check your email?
Hardly ever.
It'll be Friday, September 2nd.
Oh.
Lee Bryce, Eli Young Band, going to be here performing a concert at Hood Stadium.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Is it free?
It is free.
It's free?
It's free and open
Free.
to the public, too.
Oh.
So anybody can go.
Anybody can go.
Anybody
Everybody.
can go. Yeah.
Everybody.
Anybody and everybody.
Oh, that gate's going to be packed.
Yes, it is.
So get there early.
Yes,
Highly
definitely get there
recommend.
early.
Well, you won't see me there. I'll be in Florida.
How dare you?
I know.
Canceled. Leave canceled.
Well, I can't.
Why? Why are you leaving
One of my
us?
friends from basic training is getting married.
Oh, that's a
Yes.
good reason.
Yes. So I just bought
Congratulations to them.
a suit,
Oh,
getting it dry cleaned,
smart.
getting the pants hemmed a little bit because I'm wearing boots. In hot September summer in Florida, it's gonna
Yeah.
be great.
It's gonna be so fun for you.
Got to protect myself against them gators.
That's right. Oh boy.
Gators.
But no, it'll be fun. So
Well, that'll be great. Well,
looking forward
hopefully
to it.
then you'll be back for the next concert series that we're going to be having because there's so many people who are supposed to be coming here. I'm not going to tell you who.
Can't tell you.
Can't tell you yet.
I'll
But
find
just
out.
know.
Little tease. No, things are happening here at Fort Hood.
At
Big
the
things
great
are
place.
happening.
At the great place. Yes.
Big things are happening.
If you checked your email, you would know.
Well,
All right.
I
Well,
don't
I
know
gotta-
about the
I gotta
future
check my email.
things, but definitely the
Well,
Lee Bryce.
if I stay up to
If
date,
you
on
stay
it.
up
Exactly.
to date, you could also stay up to date by following the Garrison on Facebook
Ah.
And Twitter.
at USAG Fort Hood and
the Twitter.
Instagram.
Yeah, and Instagram.
Yeah. Got all the things.
all the things.
All the things
everywhere.
are happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Just
Good
so
to
much
know.
is happening.
Well, speaking of happenings,
Mm.
what something just started recently, didn't it?
Oh, that's right.
like a pre of something.
Well, if you're talking about the Cowboys losing the other day,
I am.
Ugh.
All right. So I think that means you're transitioning to our new segment.
I am.
That I
Yes.
have just titled
Yes.
Sports with Sam, where you tell me about sports.
Yes.
All right. I love it. Tell me about
right.
the sports.
All right. So sports. Things happened. People lost, and some people won.
Oh, I love that
Yeah.
update. That's a great. That's
But
the kind of
it's all
update I
preseason.
like.
That's a Sam update.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
Sam
it's
update.
a Sam update.
It's definitely a Sam update.
It's a bunch of people played a game for the full length, but it doesn't matter. So
yeah.
Yeah.
it's
I love
it's,
that.
it's practice.
It's basically
Oh,
practice.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the Cowboys lost, thank God. I know it's America's team, but you cannot tell me that the second, even if they have a decent second half of their season, they may make it into the postseason. First game, they're out
yeah, every year.
every year.
It's
When was the
been like
last
this.
time they made it past the first first week in post?
The 90s. It's probably it's been they've had a couple of years, but the only time that matters is the Super Bowl. The last time they won the Super Bowl was like the 90s.
90s?
Yeah, definitely the 90s. So,
had to be.
Yeah.
So
gross.
I mean, I can't talk. I'm a Niners fan, so it's about the same time, maybe even later, like the 80s. I know they were 80s, but
I just Googled it. Last time the Dallas Cowboys won the Super Bowl was in 1996 against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
1996.
96.
Just think about it. Let that sink into some of our listeners out there. 1996.
Some of our listeners may not even have been born yet.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah, I don't even know where I was. I was here. I was in Killeen. Yeah. I was not in the Army yet. I was still in high school.
Oh, well.
I'm not that old. Golly. Yeah, but I was here. I was definitely here. So still sucks.
Interesting. Well, I'm going to a Dallas Cowboys game.
Are you really?
I am.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm going to watch them play against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Ooh, that's going to be a good game.
They're going to lose.
Yeah.
Come on.
Probably.
You cannot. Come on.
I feel no loyalty to either team, so it should be fun for me.
Go get a Tom Brady jersey while you're there. Or bring one with you. They won't sell it.
Yeah. They definitely won't sell it.
They're not going to
be selling that.
No, just buy one online and bring it with you.
Okay.
You will get so much hate.
So I'm not doing that then. No, I want to come out of the game unscathed.
Yeah. No, my favorite thing to do, like when I was younger, my dad took me to Los Angeles Dodgers baseball game. And we're Giants fans. So I'm wearing a Giants baseball game. And they're rivals, right? The entire stadium is blue, dressed for Dodgers colors. Yeah. And I'm the only one with an orange cap on. And it like you could pick me out of the crowd like that.
You know what that reminds me of is that Seinfeld episode.
Yes.
Where they go to the game and
she has the Baltimore Oreo.
Yes, the Orioles. She's sitting right there in the front, and she's like, "You got to take it off." She's like, "No way, am I taking this off?"
Who says I have to take it off?
Gets kicked out of the game.
That's how I felt at one point because they hit a home run, and everybody's like silent, and you just hear in the background just. Woo!
The lone woo.
The lone fan
in the back. It was hilarious.
Oh gosh.
So I can't wait to go back.
I bet.
All right.
What else is going on? I think that's pretty much it for this week. I know the next couple of weeks, school just started back this week, and I'm pretty sure all the schools in the area are going to be started by the end of this week. So make sure you're out there when you're driving around in the school zones. Make sure that you're watching for kiddos because they may just run out there and get our willy-nilly. We don't want to talk about the bus incident when I got hit by the bus.
We don't need to hear that.
We don't need to repeat
again.
that, and we don't want that to happen to anyone.
Definitely
but in
not.
all seriousness, make sure that you're out there when you're driving, you're paying attention, and you're looking for kids in those school zones so you can watch out for them.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
Some great safety tips. And make sure when you see a bus, you stop.
Yes.
If they have the stop sign up, make sure you stop.
Stop.
That is important.
Kids are either entering or exiting said bus.
Yes.
They could very possibly be going around the front of the bus. You don't see them and they're trying to cross the street. Please be very careful.
Yeah.
And if you're in Killeen, what we learned last week was that Killeen has cameras on their buses.
Really?
That's what their chief of communications told us, that they have cameras on the bus.
If you
I don't want to find out.
I'm not going to try.
No.
You won't find me. Mm-mm.
No, I'm good.
Nope.
Well, that's good. Her safety tips are working.
Yes.
All right.
They're working already. We're seeing it
Scare
happening.
Yeah, scare tactics. Scare tactics, but it's still safety, and that's all
right.
that matters, is that we're making sure we're looking out for the safety of everyone.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
Well, I think with that, that's all we've got for this week.
Yep.
All right.
All right. So we will... Woo! We'll talk to you guys next week.
Adios.
Bye.
This podcast is a U.S. Army Garrison Fort Hood and Fort Hood Public Affairs production. The show's theme music is written and produced by Delicious All Stars. All our music is obtained through Filter. by Song Trader. Have a question or want to share some insights with us? Email us at forthoodpao@gmail.com. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at USAG Fort Hood. And as always, be sure to leave a review and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.